Starting the show today with our secret topic, which is back to Seyfried's comment. We had 4 AP top 5 teams in the country in action over the weekend. Marquette in a secret scrimmage against Michigan. Michigan State in a charity exhibition against Tennessee. Purdue in a charity exhibition at Arkansas. And Kansas in a charity exhibition at Illinois. These 4 teams all lost. 0-4 for the AP top 5 in their first contests against high major opponents. Some of these structured more as a real game than others. Marquette, Michigan was like a 48-minute thing that there were no cameras for. The others had like play-by-play announcers, like Andy Katz is running play-by-play. Kansas, Illinois was heated. It was feisty. It was competitive. Michigan State, Tennessee. Tennessee showed up and came and hit them in the mouth. Purdue and Arkansas got really chippy down the stretch. For the most part, these felt like real games. Our AP top 5 leaves without a win one day into the college basketball season. Who should be the most concerned from this group of Kansas, Purdue, Michigan State, and Marquette, all with a loss in their first action competitively? Who should be the most concerned?
I think the Jayhawks should be the most concerned. I think out of the teams that I watched, I think that they should be the most concerned. And before everyone gets at me about how I'm showing my Michigan State bias, just hear me out on this one, because I had my concerns about all the teams that lost, by the way. Like Purdue, I had my concerns. Michigan State, I could pick some concerns. But Kansas's in particular just seems like something that I look at and I project it throughout the season, and I don't necessarily know how that issue is fixed. Like there were so many situations yesterday where I thought, and this is not a shot at KJ Adams at all, because I think KJ Adams is like a great kind of utility four-man who cuts extremely well, extremely physical, and athletic as well. And he does some great things as far as finishing. But the fact that he's a non-shooter just does so much to clog the lane for that Kansas team. And granted, you were able to see guys like Kevin McCullough, who looks like he's going to have a really big year on the wing for Kansas, step up. But I just found myself at the end of that game being like, this is very clunky. I don't know how the KJ Adams, Hunter Dickinson experience is going to work throughout the season when KJ Adams isn't a threat from outside the floor. And, with the loss of redacted for Kansas, there's a lot of pressure put on guys like Timberlake to shoot the ball extremely well, and guys like Marco Jackson to be a outside threat, and even DeJuan Harris in some case. And I didn't see it from those guys. And you could tell me I'm wrong on this as well. At times, it felt like I didn't even know DeJuan Harris was out there, to be honest with you. I thought he was floating a lot yesterday. And he had one of those, like, okay DeJuan Harris games, but not the, like, I had expectations that this guy would take a step and maybe even show a little bit of alpha dog to him and be a guy who's considered to be one of the best point guards in the country. I didn't see that. It seemed like it's going to be one of those games where one of those years like he's had in previous years where he steps up some games, and some games he just kind of is solid and just out there, basically. But for me, I definitely think I'm most concerned about Kansas just because it looks so clunky to me with KJ Adams and Hunter Dickinson, and it just didn't seem to work.
Yeah, Harris had 8 assists, and that was pretty much it. Really tentative, looking for his own offense. I think there's a lot to figure out there. I think Harris is going to have a huge adjustment trying to figure out how to play off of Hunter Dickinson, quite frankly. Like, just call it what it is. It's very easy to settle into, like, game manager role next to Hunter Dickinson. But if you're a game manager, you would like to be able to at least be a threat to shoot from deep. And I don't know that DeJuan is. I know he's made threes in his career, but the guy just doesn't want to shoot the ball. Kevin McCullough being really good, I think, made it a little better on this game, because if Kevin McCullough wasn't really good in this game, everybody would have looked awful around Hunter. Kevin kind of saved it. You can see a path forward, but I'm worried about Kansas's depth. I'm worried about their shooting for sure. Hunter's it's all the same problems he had at Michigan. He's playing with a total non-shooting threat at the 4, a guy who doesn't want to shoot at point guard. And honestly, like, Kevin McCullough's the only teammate he had that made a 3 in this game. They were 2 for 10 from distance outside, or no, 2 for 9 from 3 outside of Hunter. The whole team was 2 for 9, and Kevin McCullough made both of them. He's a career 29% shooter from 3. Like, that's terrifying. He somehow went to a team with less shooting than the team Michigan had last season. So I think you're right. That's one of the two that should be most concerned. My answer is a different team, though. I think it's Purdue. I think Purdue is the team that should be most concerned. And I've been ringing the bell that this is the best team in the country all offseason. I think they're going to make the national championship game. I think they're going to win the Big Ten, everything. I've gassed them up as high as I possibly can. I did not think Purdue would be starting a 6'1" guard that shot 28% from three on 7 attempts per game last season at the 3. That's where we're at to start the season. This is a different team than was promised all offseason. If Lance Jones has emerged as the best option to play next to Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer and Kaufman, Wren, and Edey, that means that 5 different guys who on paper would give Purdue a better option of what they need at the 3 are all not ready for it. Like Miles Colvin looks like he needs a red shirt. Cam Heide is promising, but he's a bench guy right now. Brian Waddell barely played. And then you have Gillis and Morton, who Painter clearly wants to go away from. But how do you go away from them if you don't have a better player than them? Is where I'm at. Like he didn't go out and get somebody better. Lance Jones is not better than those guys. So at minimum, like I think this is just going to turn back into the team they were last year with Gillis and Morton. And then that's fine. If it's the team from last year, that's fine. But you need the step forward from Braden Smith, who had, once again, 7 turnovers against a team that pressures all game. So it's scary.
Yeah, it is. And I think a lot of what and I was kind of on the same train with Purdue as you. I thought that everyone was just being so down on them and forgetting what they did last year, being a top 5 team, winning the Big Ten. They were one of my picks, I think, to make the Final Four this season or really challenge for a Final Four. I truly thought that was in the cards for Purdue. And obviously, we're going to get a lot of overreaction blowback to this, but a lot of what I predicated my Purdue love on was guys like Cam Heide, Miles Colvin in particular, and even Brian Waddell after showing what he showed at the summer, being that guy at the 3 to bring that athleticism and, the slashing, something else for this team. And the fact that all 3 of those guys have fell short to Lance Jones seemingly, it just doesn't necessarily sit right with me. And also for all the love that we gave Braden Smith, and I'm not worried about Braden Smith at all. Let's let that be known before I say this. Not worried about him whatsoever. Yes, I know he had 7 turnovers, but it was just so uncharacteristic to me. Honestly, it kind of seemed like he got caught up a little bit in the chippiness and the energy of the game to me, and was trying to make passes that he didn't necessarily need to make. Like he tried to put a little extra sprinkle, a little funk on every single pass he made, and he made it harder. He was trying to hit the home run, maybe a little sweet looking passes when he could have made the very simple play. And I don't think that's going to be an issue for him moving forward. So honestly, someone might get mad at us for being like, oh, you're not addressing him having 7 turnovers. I don't think he's going to have that. And I don't necessarily think it was even the pressure that made him turn it over in this game from what I watched. To me, it was more so him trying to do too much. Now, that might be because of the pressure, but I truly think that he was just trying to do too much. So I'm not necessarily worried about that, but it's
I love that, by the way.
Me.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I love that Braden was trying to do too much, by the way. I love a little seasoning with Braden. I love it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'd rather have – okay, no, I wouldn't rather have this because he can't have 7 turnovers. But he's being aggressive and trying to make plays. Just stop trying to make the very sweet play.
I love it. Make the sweet play. So here's my thing. It's the opposite of DeJuan Harris, right? All we've said all along for DeJuan Harris's career is like, go be that guy. Go be the dog. Go be the alpha and show up. Like, be aggressive. Braden Smith, you're never going to have a problem with Braden Smith not coming on the court and being like, I'm the baddest dude out here. I love that. And at a certain point, to me, that's going to click. It hasn't clicked yet. It didn't click in this game. That's why he had 7 turnovers. But like, this dude carries himself like he's the best point guard in the country. He attempts passes as if he's the best passer in the country. And he's not, but he's very, very good. And by the end of the season, he quite frankly could be. So I don't mind it. It's a little sauce. It's a little seasoning, but I don't mind that for Braden.
And I want to cut you off here. To start the game, Devo Davis, and I forgot who else was guarding him, goes under a screen on Braden Smith. And there's nothing I love more than a guard who's like, don't you ever in your life go under a screen on me. That is the most disrespectful thing. I might not make this, but I'm firing this. And you better go over the screen next time. And he banged 2 threes immediately and shot that shot. DeJuan Harris is not doing that. I'm not trying to make this a DeJuan Harris versus Braden Smith thing, But what I'm saying is that Braden seems to be wired
Yeah.
differently.
I would ride or die with Braden Smith. I can go down, and there will be swings. Like with Braden Smith is your second best player in your point guard. There's going to be games you lose because of Braden Smith. There's also going to be a lot of games you win because of Braden Smith. So, yeah, I just want to say I love and this game didn't matter. I have more on this in my one big thing, but end of the day, these games didn't matter. Am I mad that Braden was putting extra sauce on his passes in a game that doesn't matter? No, I'm not. It didn't work.
This game mattered to Arkansas.
It did matter to Arkansas. It mattered to all of the underdogs, which I think is a trend in this. If we're talking about who should be the most concerned? Why did this happen? Why did the AP Top 5 go 0-4? It's because Michigan, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Illinois played like these were Final Four games, and the other 4 teams played like these are charity exhibitions. Truthfully, that's what happened here. It's like the underdogs came in like we have something to prove and make a statement that we're here. And the other 4 were like, let's just get through this and stay healthy. So I don't know. Interesting stuff. All right. Kansas and Purdue are our answers for who should be most concerned. Nothing on Michigan State, nothing on Marquette. We'll talk more about these teams later in the show. In fact, let's get to it right now, Cart. We're getting to our 5 segments now, 5 different Big Ten teams with notable results.